What the hell's going on in welterweight right now? No, I understand that we just got a few fights in the division, that being JDM versus Gilbert Burns. What the hell's going on with Leon? Like, I already know, but I want to know what you guys thought was going on. Because Leon Edwards has somehow made the entirety of the MMA fan base treat Kamaru Usman like it was the golden age of welterweight. Because at least Kamaru Usman was defending the belt at a semi-timely manner. Leon Edwards fought Kamaru Usman in the rematch and then had that fight against Colby Covington. We gifted you a fight with Colby Covington. Let's be real. That's what that was. They were worried that Bilal Muhammad versus Leon Edwards wasn't going to sell any pay-per-views. That's why they still haven't done it. So they gifted Leon Edwards the UFC 296 card, which at the time was fairly stacked, gave him Colby Covington. There were no other champs on the card to hog up the pay-per-view points, so he got the biggest share against the biggest possible name we could have put him up against for pay-per-views. And then had, I'm just going to say it, not a great performance. It just wasn't a great performance. And now we're in this limbo where I'm thinking to myself, okay, Leon Edwards is going to be the co-main of UFC 300. That makes sense, right? Because Leon goes onto a fucking European football stadium and says, yup, I'm going to be representing the UK on UFC 300. Now, when I heard with him say that, I thought it was going to be Leon versus Bilal because, why not? Let's do it. Fine. Make him the co-main of UFC 300. I understand people are going to bitch and moan about it, but guess what? They have to do Bilal. There's just no way around it. Come to find out, they offered Leon Edwards 3 separate opponents that he said yes to, by the way. And every single one of the opponents they offered him said no. You want to know what they were? You're not going to believe me. Let's start off with the one that we probably all thought it was, Shavkat Rakhmonov. At that point, Shavkat Rakhmonov had a win over Wonderboy. I guess you can, just because it's Bilal Muhammad above him. Yeah, no, I guess you can justify that. Shavkat Rakhmonov was offered a fight against Leon Edwards. He said no. Ramadan. Understandable. And then they offered him Islam Makhachev. Yup, Islam Makhachev was offered a fight against Leon Edwards. He said no. Ramadan. Oh, okay, yeah. That makes sense. I don't know why we're asking 2 fighters that are, I'm sorry, they're just gonna say no. Because, they're both Muslim. What did you expect them to say? And then they ask one other person, Khamzat Chimaev, to fight Leon Edwards on UFC 300. And fucking Leon says yes. They gifted Khamzat Chimaev. He's not even ranked in welterweight anymore. They gifted him a fight against Leon Edwards. And he said, now Ramadan, away for Saudi Arabia. Ugh! Like, it's not as frustrating. No, what makes it frustrating is the fact that you got Bilal Muhammad over here saying it's like, I will fight during, after, before Ramadan. It doesn't matter. Put me in, Dana. Didn't even receive one offer. But this person ranked below him does. Dude, Bilal, do some press, brother. Like, you could actually make a case that the UFC is, like, giving you just, they're treating Bilal Muhammad worse than they treated Leon, and everybody says that Leon Edwards was treated awful by the UFC. Now, Bilal can actually make a case here. This is what I think you do. These are the matchups that you have to get welterweight back on track, because part of the reason that Bilal Muhammad is the clear number 1 contender. Kamaru Usman still ranked number 1. Shavkat Rakhmonov is kind of a number 1 contender. Then you have JDM calling out Shavkat after beating Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is coming off a loss. Machado Gary wants to fight Colby. Colby's calling him a cuck. We got a lot going on. We got Michael Venom Page being put in here. Joaquin Buckley's fighting Vicente Luque. We have a lot of things to get through. Number 1, I'm going to get through these bullet point style. Number 1, let's start near the bottom and go up to the top. Kevin Holland, fight whoever the fuck you want to fight. You already beat Michael Chiesa. You lost to Michael Venom Page. It is what it is. I say Kevin Holland, Neil Magny. Why not? Let's do it. Neil Magny beat Mike Mallet. Fraud check the Canadian. I say you do Kevin Holland versus Neil Magny. You could do that. Michael Chiesa, I don't even know how you're ranked. I don't know why you're still fighting in the UFC. Maybe it's in a contract to keep your desk job. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't really know. So Kevin Holland, Neil Magny, book it. Next up, Michael Venom Page. It's very simple, actually. Michael Venom Page is going to be fighting Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I don't care that MVP is talking about it would be a boring fight and I'm not interested. We need to get you up the rankings because the UFC wants to give somebody a fun title fight, and let's get you some fun fights. You want to get the money this late in your career. You're going to make more money fighting against Wonderboy than you are going to be making money fighting Jeff Neal. So there you go. Kevin Holland's going to be fighting Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Book it. Next up, above Wonderboy is Sean Brady. That's wild. Sean Brady just coming off, well, I don't want to say just. His last win is against Calvin Gastelum. Who is he going to be fighting? Sean Brady versus Gilbert Burns. I don't want him to fall too far down on the rankings. I don't think Gilbert Burns versus Jeff Neal is a necessarily a good fight to make. I say let's do jiu-jitsu versus jiu-jitsu. Let's give Sean Brady a chance to prove that he has hands because he's one of the few people to get TKO'd by Bilal Muhammad. Let's give him a chance against Gilbert Burns. Book Sean Brady against Gilbert Burns next time you go to Miami, or make that a fight night main event for the fans. That is a legit 5-night main event, and not Rose Namajunas versus... I don't even care who you put up against. Menon Fiorat's fighting Aaron Blanchfield. That's a main event now. Why? Okay, that's a different video. Okay. Sean Brady, Gilbert Burns, Ian Machado Gary, Colby Covington. Colby's over here talking about stipulations over like, well, okay, oh yeah, also. Turn your comment section on. Please. You can turn your comments off when it has anything to do with your family. By all means, do that. But if you're going to make an Instagram reel talking shit about Jeff Neal, but you're going to turn off your comment section, stop. Just stop talking shit then. Delete your social media then. I hate people who turn off their comments. It's annoying. So, Ian Gary. Let me tell you the 3 stipulations really quick. So, Colby Covington says that he will take a fight with Ian Gary if he turns his comment section on, and if he keeps his comment section off, he wants the entirety of his purse. The second stipulation, if I can remember off the top of my head, it was kind of a cringy video. Oh yeah, his wife has to beg on her hands and knees for Colby Covington to take a fight with her husband, and he wants that on an Instagram reel made public with the comments on. And if he does beat Ian Gary, he wants to do a pick of the week video that kind of looks something like this with his wife. So yeah, normal Colby Covington shenanigans. How about this, Colby? You take the fucking fight, or we're going to make it 3 rounds. That's what I'm doing if I'm Colby. I'm going to go to the UFC, and I'm going to try to weasel my way into a 5-round fight with Ian Gary, because I'm telling you this right now, the UFC might have already made their mind. Oh, Colby doesn't want to fight after having that shitty performance against Leon? Alright, we're going to book it against Ian Gary, and we're going to make it a 3-round fight. You're going to get fucked up. Your only chance of winning, honestly, is for this to be a 5-round fight, because at least then you could out-cardio him later on, because Ian Gary treated the fight with Jeff Neal like a track and field event. So Ian Gary, Colby Covington, you're not the superstar anymore. The heel's done. Strickland took your entire fan base. Move on. You're running out of money, so guess what? Advocate for a 5-round fight that you can potentially win, or the UFC is going to do it for you, and they're going to book a 3-round fight, or they're going to put you up against fucking Jeff Neal. Joaquin Buckley's already fighting Vicente Luque. Already talked about that. We'll see what happens with that. And then we have Shavkat Rakhmonov. Shavkat Rakhmonov's fighting Jack Della Maddalena. That's the fight that you have to make. I don't care. You need a number 1 contender after Bilal Muhammad, because we can't just give Leon an excuse not to fight. Even though he's been saying yes to every fight that he's been offered, I don't want the excuse to be, well, I only was able to fight once this year because this happened. I don't give a shit. Let's get a number 1 contender lined up for him, and let's do Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Jack Della Maddalena, number 1 contenders match to fight Leon Edwards next. Bilal Muhammad, you're fighting Leon. Kamaru Usman, I have no clue what the hell you want to do. in all honesty, you need to get out of the welterweight division, go back up to middleweight, gain the weight, and you can maybe even get a fight with Brendan Allen. Needs a short notice opponent. You stepped up for Khamzat Chimaev. You nearly won. Make a step up, 5-round fight against Brendan Allen. Marvin Vettori just pulled out of his fight. Do that. That's a winnable fight. Puts you into that top 5, top 8 discussion, and you can get up in the middleweight. When a dominant champion loses their belt in their division, like how Kamaru did to Leon, now any loss that he's going to suffer from now on is going to decrease the legacy, decrease the fame, and what he was able to achieve in that division. You know how you get away from that? You go up a division and start a new legacy at middleweight. So go up, fight Brendan Allen, save that fight night card. Kamaru Usman versus Brendan Allen as a fight night main event. Why not? And then that makes Bilal Muhammad the number 1 contender against Leon Edwards. Leon, please beat Bilal Muhammad. We have to make this fight. I don't really give a fuck where you put this. And then Shavkat Rakhmonov versus JDM. The winner gets to fight you next. And that is how you fix the welterweight division. Okay? In a rapid fire style. Not as ranty as my other videos. Those are all the matchups you gotta make to fix this division. I think that's gonna be it for this video. Tell me what you think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you all next time.